Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. As you can see, I have my special guest. My friend Cam is here to help me out with this one. I do want to start, before we get into what we're here to talk about, as you can see, I have an awesome new t-shirt, Zelda-themed. Zelda-themed. It's a Zelda-themed podcast. This is from the new Nintendo line at Uniqlo. They had like a contest where they... people designed t-shirts and they picked their favorite designs and they made t-shirts out of them. And they're actually not too expensive. They're like 15 bucks a piece. I resisted and only got two. I was very proud of myself. I got this one and I got an Animal Crossing one that I will wear in a future podcast. So look forward to that. There is another Animal Crossing t-shirt that has like little faces of all the different characters on it, but that's for children only. And even though a friend of mine said, Dan was like, oh, I'll sometimes get like an extra large or an extra large children and I can squeeze into it. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not sure that will work for me. But it's fine because I didn't like that one as much anyway, so I was, alright, fine. There are also designs that are like women's only. Have you seen all the designs yet?
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't?
I gotta look them up, yeah.
There's a cool Metroid one. It's like a Samus helmet. It's really cool. There is one, there's a bunch of Mario ones, but I'm not that big on Mario, so I'm like, eh. Like, there's one with, like, the pipe and stuff, but, there's also one with, like, a giant pixel Mario that takes up, like, the bottom part of the t-shirt, but I already have one of those from Nintendo from, like, years ago, so this person's design was not terribly original. But there's a really cool one that's, like, this line art that, like, kind of, it's like a squiggly line art that, like, squiggles around the t-shirt and it makes an outline of Pikachu. It's like a black t-shirt with, like, a gray line, and that one's kind of cool, but I resisted that one. Sort of proud of myself. I resisted that one. But definitely check them out, because they're really cool shirts, and I don't know how long they're going to last. They had plenty of stock at the Uniqlo I went to in Brooklyn yesterday, but I don't know if they're going to keep making them or if it's a one-time only deal. But if you can't find them in the store, I think you can still order them online. They'll probably have them there. And then, also on the Zelda tip, real quick, before we get into what we're here to actually talk about, I just wanted to mention that, as you know, I'm still playing Zelda portably, so I'm not making, like, tons of progress, but I'm basically done with the game. I'm just finishing up, like, the random side quests and finding shrines and things. I happened to find a memory that I thought was in Hyrule Castle area, which I've been avoiding because the Guardians, and it's just annoying, and I don't want to deal with that right now. And it turns out it's not. It's, like, to the west of Hyrule Castle, and I looked at the map, and I'm like, I haven't gone up there yet. Like, and it's amazing to me that I've played this whole game, I've got all the 4 Guardians, like, everything, like, I've been all over the place, and there are still areas that I have not found. And I'm just like, there's new things to discover all the time. This game is ridiculous. I'm so impressed by it. So I went up there to get that memory, and then I'm like, well, let me just go over and see what's by this lake here. And then the shrine indicator went off, and I was super proud of myself. I went in to do a shrine. It was just one of those normal shrines that you stumble across, so there was an annoying puzzle inside. It wasn't one of the hard ones where, like, getting there is the battle, so when you get inside, they're like, here, just have the orb.
Good job.
But, this one was just a regular one, and it was the one where there's, like, metal platforms, and you have to use the magnet, and then there's, like, to get around, and then there's, like, a long platform with spiky metal balls. Do you remember this one?
I don't know if I did that one.
There's, like, spiky metal balls. There's, like, 4 or 5 of them as you go along the platform. So, basically, I'm like, oh, I see what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to magnetize the ball, swing it to the left, and then have it go like this, and then I've got to run past it, like in every platformer ever, since the beginning of time.
Your favorite.
So I am like, this is going to suck, and I'm going to hate this. And after falling to my death a few times, I was like, alright, I need to, like, take the spiky metal ball and make it go really high to give me some time to get past it. And I'm like, maybe I can do it not all at the same time, just one at a time. There's space in between them. I just need to get past one of the spiky metal balls. So I go to bring it as high as I can, and suddenly realize, wait, I can bring it up above the rod where the chain starts. Like, the chain is attached to a rod up above, and I could bring the spiky metal ball up above that, and then I'm like, wait a minute, what if, and I, like, pushed it a little, and so I made it, like, the chain loop over the top of the rod, and then it hung down, and I let go, and it fell down again, but now it fell down, like, and it only went, like, halfway down. So I could just walk right under it.
Spoilers.
So I was like, woohoo! So I'm sure the designers didn't intend for me to basically take each spiky metal ball and wrap it around the top so that I could just walk right under them. But that's what I did because it was way easier than what I presume they intended me to do, which was to make them swing and then have to try to run past them and time it correctly. Because I think in the beginning of the, the intro, the shrine intro, they're like, the name of it was like, timing is crucial or something like that. So I was like, oh yeah, okay. So I'm pretty sure that's what they intended me to do. But it's like that other one where you had the ball that you had to get it to go through the maze to come out the other side. And I accidentally like twisted it too much and flipped it upside down. And then the next ball dropped down for another try. And it was on the back end of the maze. And I could just slide it straight across. And I was like, well, that was so much easier. And I feel like the designers could have taken those kinds of things out. Like, they could have made it and put other bars up there so I couldn't get the ball up and over, but they didn't. So I feel like that was the designer's way of saying, if you can use the physics of this game to create another solution, feel free. And I love that. Like, I love that about this game, that there are other ways to do things. Segue. I was not feeling terribly clever the other week when we did Escape the Room, Defenders of the Triforce. This is his poster that he got. You didn't pay for that. You got that free.
I got it bundled
with your
with
ticket
the
price.
ticket, yeah.
So you paid for it.
Yeah. It's only like $10 more, so it's fine.
And while it's called it was Escape the Room, Defenders of the Triforce, it's not an escape room.
It's a real escape game.
It was very misleading. It's a real escape game.
Yeah.
That's what it's called. That's right. Real escape game. So it's not an Escape the Room. Because I've done an Escape the Room, and it's totally different. There were no rooms here. Well, we were in one big room. And then I guess technically you could argue that like the Rito Domain and the Goron City and the Kakariko Village, they were technically rooms, but they were really just curtained off corners. Yeah.
So they were like stands.
They were not really rooms. And there was no real escaping going on. But it was still really fun. I have to say, I wish... Because the thing with Escape the Rooms is that there's like... You're in the environment so that you're using the environment to help solve the puzzle. So there's a lot of like switches and levers and like manipulating of physical objects to like solve your puzzles. And with this thing, with Defenders of the Triforce, I felt like it was a lot of paper. You know, like you're just solving paper puzzles. So it was... There were stuff, like, because we had the treasure chests. So there were some physical problems, but...
Probably not on the level of an actual escape game.
Like, I like the stuff that's in the Escape the Rooms kind of thing. But it was fun. It was... I felt like it was a little overpriced, though. What did you think?
Yeah. No, it was... I've never done an escape room before, so...
I don't actually know what they cost either.
Yeah. I didn't know. I think the ticket I got was like $45, but that was with a discount. So... But yeah, I enjoyed the experience overall. I mean, part of it for me was going with a bunch of my friends.
Yeah, it was Cam and me and a few other friends.
I set up a group to go with friends, and I had a blast with them.
Because that would have been so weird, because they made you sit at a table, like you had to have 6 people. Right, or 5.
Yeah, it's 6.
6.
It's 6.
Yeah. No, we only had 5.
No, we had 6.
We did?
Yes. Trust me, we had 6 people.
Okay.
You're forgetting yourself. You count as a person, Chris.
But like, if you just came by yourself, or if you came with like one friend, they were going to put you at a table to make 6 people, because you had to have 6 people for some reason. I don't know why. I mean, you could have done it by yourself. It would have been harder. Way, way harder.
Yeah.
But like doing that with strangers would be like so weird.
I mean, if you're all fans of it, I guess it's fine. But yeah,
you don't know if you're going to work with people
exactly.
very well.
Part of the fun of it was doing it with my friends, because I know how I get along with them, and we all think collectively, and we're in it together.
And it was good because like there were all these levels of different puzzles, like, and what I thought was funny is that we basically solved puzzles without actually solving them. So then, like, basically we would get further than we were supposed to, and then we'd be like, wait, what do we do next? And we'd have to, like, double back and be like, oh, right, when we did that, we were supposed to have also done this, because we didn't solve it correctly. We just solved it by instinct, or by just guessing and figuring it out. But I feel like, you know, it was fun because there were so many different puzzles that, like, I feel like everybody was able to contribute. Like, I missed a lot of stuff, but I did figure out a few things. Right. So, like, I feel like everybody had a moment to feel clever.
Everyone contributed, yeah. And the time was about right. You only have about an hour, and we used that hour.
Oh my god, we literally had, like, seconds to go. Yeah. Like, seriously, like, because we figured it out, solved the final puzzle, and
we had like
which that was thanks to you, actually. I think wasn't it?
No, it was our other teammate. Well, it was in part to me because
you thought of doing that first, and nothing happened. But then Tim did it, and it actually showed up, and it was on his, not any of ours. Because if I had done it and nothing happened, I'd been like, oh.
Yeah.
But thankfully, he tried it and it worked. So then we went to the final area to go to, what was it, like Hyrule Castle or something. That was another curtained off corner, and you basically go and like pull the Master Sword out and whatever. And then, like, we ran over to get in line, and they're like, 30 seconds remain, or whatever, 10 seconds, or whatever, and we literally had just gotten in. There was a line of people to get in to pull the Master Sword, because you do it team by team. And I was like, oh my god, if we don't get to do this, we solved it, we won, this shouldn't count against us. But thankfully, everyone who had lined up by the time they counted 0, by the time that time was up, everybody in line still got to go and pull their Master Sword and take it back to their table, and was still victorious. So thank goodness. Because lines are no good. Because in Escape the Room, it's you and a group of people in a room, and you all work together to get out.
Right.
Whereas this was a huge, like, hall. It was this massive, massive, like, meeting room kind of place. And there were, like, I mean, how many tables? Like, 40?
And I want to say, like, 20.
Oh.
30?
I would think more like 30 or 40 tables. There were a lot of tables. And that's the thing. I'm like, how expensive can this really be to produce? I mean, I don't know what this room would have cost, you know, to rent for this, but I'm like, you're getting like $40+ off of every single person in this room, and there's like at least like 30 tables of 6 people a piece. Like, that's a lot of money that you're raking in for this.
Right.
I'm just saying. I mean, those little plastic Master Swords can't cost that much. Just saying.
Yeah.
But, it was a fun experience. You know what? I meant to ask my husband's cousin, after I posted on Facebook that picture of us, our victory picture after winning. I posted that to Facebook, and Frank's cousin was like, "Oh, we're doing the Resident Evil one next week or something," and she never said anything, and I'm just like, I want to find out like what that was like, how that was, because it's the same company, I think, isn't it?
I don't know. I read something about a Resident Evil one a little bit ago, but I don't know if it's by the same company.
Okay, because I don't know if the Resident Evil one is like a proper Escape the Room, or if it's a
similar style
real escape game where you just sit at a table in a room and you have some props and papers and puzzles and you solve them. Because I feel like Resident Evil should be an Escape the Room.
Yeah,
like that should be an Escape the Room where you're like finding herbs and like figuring out, because also Resident Evil really lends itself to an Escape the Room, because those games are literally just like obscure, ridiculous puzzles, like that you're just what? How does that work? Okay, fine. So like, you know, it should be an Escape the Room where you're like, we need to get through this door, and it has a gorilla key hole. Like a keyhole shaped like a gorilla, and so then you're running around trying to find the medallion shaped like a gorilla to put it in there and open the door and get out. Like that sort of thing. Because that's what killed me with Resident Evil 7. Did you play that?
Not yet. Okay. It's on my list.
I should lend that to you.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I finished it. Yeah. So you could totally borrow that now that you've returned until dawn. Because I'm only lending out one at a time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because last night, I went looking for a Blu-ray, and I looked on the shelf, and I'm like, wait, do I not have all the seasons of this TV show? And Frank's like, I don't think you got the last one. And I'm like, I remember buying every single season of this TV show. There's only 4. Like, I thought I had them all. And then we basically, like, he dug around. It turned out the final season had gotten, like, pushed back behind something on the shelf. So he, like, found it. He's like, yes. He's like, you don't have season 1. And I'm like, well, obviously I bought season 1.
Yeah.
Like, season 1 has to be somewhere. Like, I could see that I didn't buy season 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But season 1 I would have bought. But it turns out, he's like, maybe you lent it to somebody? And then I went, ping! And I'm like, I think I know exactly who I lent it to. And I messaged her, and sure enough, she's like, yeah, I think I still have that. I lent it to her, like, years ago and completely forgot. So I have to be really careful with lending things out, because I will forget that I've lent it to you, and then you can just keep it. Because I won't know where it went. And I won't remember to get it back. I'll just be like, I don't know where it went. I don't remember who to ask.
Yeah.
So, but I can lend you Resident Evil 7. Because it was funny, because the beginning of Resident Evil, it's very like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it's so different from any Resident Evil game you've ever played. And it's just like, oh my god, this is so amazing, and it's so different. And then you're like, I have to get out of this crazy Texas Chainsaw Massacre house. And you're like, I have to get through this door. And it has a keyhole shaped
like a gorilla.
It wasn't a gorilla. It was some, like a buffalo or some. It was some animal, and I'm just like, not a gorilla, obviously, because gorilla would be silly. That would just be ridiculous. I mean, who has keyhole shaped like gorillas? But it was like, all of a sudden, I was like, no, it's a Resident Evil game, all right. Yep, there it is. And then I started finding herbs and things to heal my. And I was like, yep, it's a Resident Evil game. Silly puzzles, whatever. But that would be great as an escape the room, especially because a good Resident Evil will escape the room, where you're like trying to work out the puzzles to get out. And then, like, somebody in zombie makeup can, like, bust in and try to kill you and stuff, and that would be super awesome. But I have to find out how that one went, because I didn't do that one.
Yeah.
At the end, they said everybody was getting all excited because they were doing another one.
Final Fantasy Bahamut something.
Bahamut's Revenge or something, I don't know. Yeah, it was a Final Fantasy one, and everybody in the crowd was all like, woo! And I was just like, so don't think of me for that one. Like, this one, it was fine. You were like, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, it sounds like fun, sure. But now having done it, it's like, it was fun, but also because it would be Final Fantasy, which I'd have a lot less interest in. Like, maybe find somebody else.
Right.
No offense.
No, that's fine. I think part of the appeal for me with the Zelda one is because I'm such a big Zelda fan.
Yeah.
So, if it were anything else, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed it as much, but... and we got to break some pots, which is fun. So
yeah, so that's fun. Because, I mean, what's Zelda without breaking pots?
Yeah, exactly.
I have to say, that is one of the things that I find weird in Breath of the Wild, is that you don't do very much pot breaking.
Well, there aren't very many pots to break.
No.
So.
And every time I see one, I'm always like, oh, hey! And, like, I'll pick it up and I'll throw it, and then there's nothing.
Well, now you break...
I don't think I've ever found anything to pot. I think they just put breakable pots in the game, just randomly here and there, in the towns and stuff, because you have to have pots to break.
No, the new
but
pots...
they don't put anything in them.
The new pots are the giant metal boxes that you lift in the air and just smash. Because they usually have rupees in them and stuff.
That's true. Oh, wait, no, the giant metal ones that you smash into the enemies. That's the best part.
Oh, yeah, you can do that too.
Yeah, no, there's wooden ones that have, like, food and rupees and stuff in them.
But you can burn those.
I always feel really bad, though. You know the little blue creature that hides in the forest?
The bloopy.
I always feel really bad shooting it. Because also you only get, like, 10 or 15 rupees out of it. Like, you don't get a lot of rupees. It's not like you hit it and it's like, woohoo!
Have you found the mountain layer with them?
And I feel really bad. I mean, the what?
There's a mountain layer, which I won't say where. There's a mountain that has, like, a ton of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and there's another creature there, too. And you can hit them, and it's just rupees everywhere.
Oh, alright, well, I'll look for that.
You gotta look for that.
Because, I think I've only seen them in, like, a couple of different places. Right. I have not seen them in any mountains. And I also now want to go back into the Gerudo Highlands, because Rob tweeted that picture. Did you see he tweeted... I think it was Rob. He tweeted a picture of, like, some huge, like this cliffside with, like, this big mural of, like, a sun with these symbols and stuff on it. And he's like, always discovering new things in Breath of the Wild. And I was like, where is that? I have not seen that. He's like, I think it's somewhere in the Gerudo Highlands. And I'm like, I have to go back and look for that. I don't know if it's for anything. Oh, you know, it might be part of that, like, cliffside. Because there's a quest out in that area that's, like... There's something weird about a cliffside, so maybe that's what that is.
Maybe,
I haven't done that one yet. There's so many cliffs, there's so many side quests yet, and I'm still doing them. And Ganon can just frickin' wait.
And this time next year,
I have
you'll still
things
be
to do.
doing them.
Yes. Well, no, because what's going to happen is there's all these Switch games that are like coming, but they're a ways off, so I'm okay. I can take my time and do all the side quests in Zelda. But then what's going to happen is all of a sudden they're going to be like, here's the release date for this game that you've been waiting for. And I'm like, okay, now I got to go finish Zelda. And then I'm going to have to like suddenly buckle down and be like, stop everything, beat Ganon. Okay, now I can play this other Switch game. Because I can't start another Switch game until I've beaten Ganon, because I'll never go back and do it, because I'll get distracted by the new game. Because that's what happens to me. I'll get distracted by the new game, and then Ganon will destroy Hyrule. And it'll be all my fault.
Yep.
Alright, that's enough nonsense for this week. I'm going to go let Cam play some PlayStation VR. He wants to be Batman. So I'll see you back here next week. And have a good time. Bye!
Bye!